When you put all that effort and hard work into your homegrown produce, you want to enjoy the results. But we gardeners often have to share our harvests with a range of wildlife. As well as encouraging wildlife and creating habitat, there are methods that you can employ to stop them from completely annihilating your veggie garden. But finding out who the culprit is really the first step in finding the right approach. Let's start with the small creatures, rats and mice. There's actually one living in this compost bin. I suspect it's a rat. How do I know? Well, they've made themselves a nice rat-sized front door. Rats and mice love compost, and they'll mow down tender seedlings, chew on roots, vegetables and fruit, and even eat your organic fertiliser pellets. A rat's had a good go at this grapefruit, and you can tell by the teeth marks. They'll also bite on hard surfaces like tree trunks and wooden beds. And keep an eye out for droppings. They'll leave them all over the place. And because their urine is quite smelly, you might get some clues if you follow your nose. Small rodents will often follow the same routes around your garden, so move your pots and clean up around them regularly, and don't leave water sources out. This can all disrupt their routine and discourage nesting in protected nooks. So how do you deter rodents from getting into your compost? Well, it's all about making your bins a little bit more secure. You can use wire either around or underneath the bins. You can place them on a hard surface, even concrete. Those plastic bins, well, they can be dug into the ground. To prevent destruction to your newly planted seedlings, you can create a coil or cage to place over them to protect from rats as well as birds. But remember, rats dig, so you need to work it into the ground a little bit. It will give your seedlings an opportunity to establish and grow. And as they mature, they become less palatable to your rats. Nighttime visitors like the common brush-tailed possum, which are found in all our urban areas, are a protected native animal, so it's important not to harm them. The brushies are regular visitors here to the patch, and they pretty much eat everything. But they tend to concentrate more on flowers and leaves than the rodents. And of course, they love the fruit. They prefer to stay above ground, so you can deter them from the garden by first removing any easy highways, like overhanging branches. Netting your fruit trees and shrubs is a simple yet effective way of protecting them against possums, birds, and even, if the mesh is small enough, insects like cabbage moth. But the trick is to keep it nice and taut. This usually requires you to build a simple structure over the plant. And a good idea is to peg the base down. That way snakes and lizards don't get caught up in it. And a final thing, make sure your netting is white. Most of them are these days, but when they're white, they can see it, and you can also see them pretty easily if they get caught up in it. When it comes to your larger animals, like the kangaroos and the wallabies we sometimes get here at the patch, you need something strong to keep them out. They'll easily push over weak structures to get to those vulnerable and tasty young plants and shoots. Using Rio or fencing mesh with a few stakes is a simple yet effective method to put a stop to the grazing. You can make these cages to any size or shape that you need, and you can pretty much use any material as long as it's strong and rigid enough. I've got 3 sheets here. They've all got small meshes that a wallaby can't get through. They're 1.5 wide by 1.2 high, and I've chopped one in half to form the back, and the last thing I need to do is put on the door. Wallaby and roo also love to graze on lawns, so try reducing grassed areas around your veggie patch, or create a barrier with native plants that can handle a regular prune. They'll forage on their natural food sources and give your garden a rest. By providing tree cover and perches, you might encourage birds of prey to visit. They're the natural predators of rats, so it's a win-win for us and the birds. So concentrate your protective methods on the times when your plants are most vulnerable. Essentially, what you're trying to do is make your own veggie patch less appealing to your hungry wildlife than the surrounding area. And hopefully, you can strike a balance between enjoying your own homegrown tasty produce and visits from your furry locals.